All right.
Right. My computer would work, life would be good. There it goes. Good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it might be for everyone. My name is Lisa Schulman. I am the manager of strategic initiatives here at the Merage School of Business at the University of California, Irvine. My role is a lot of fun. I get to do a lot of different things, but I get to work with our 10 master's programs and think of unique ways to reach out and diversify the pipeline of students we have coming here, and that's both domestically and internationally. So I love that you guys are here joining us and learning a bit about us today. So I'm going to go through this a little overview of who we are and also what our programs are. And then at the end, as Stephen shared, we can go over there, any questions and comments that you might have. So one, where is Irvine? That's always the biggest question we get. Everybody knows Los Angeles, everybody knows San Diego. We are in between both of them, which is nice. We're about 45 minutes from LA, depending on traffic, about an hour and a half from San Diego. But we are located right on the water, and we have beautiful temperatures year round, except yesterday that it rained, but that's okay, it happens. We've also been ranked 17 years in a row now, #1 safest city in America, and the #1 best city for tech hubs. So it's a really great place to be, both for living and for your professional journey. UC Irvine itself, I always say it's the little sister of UCLA and UC Berkeley, which are the two more well-known schools in the UC system. There's multiple campuses, but we get to be one of them. We're very happy about that. We're located, I think a lot of people don't realize that I'm from New York, and I always assumed, okay, everybody who has a great company comes to New York, they come to LA, that's it. But actually, a third of the Fortune 500 companies are actually located here in Irvine or Orange County and have offices here. They might have multiple locations, but one of them happens to be here, which is really, really cool. And the university itself, you can see a lot of little facts on here, but we are a top 10 public university in the US that we're very proud of. We have multiple bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, so it's a huge campus with tons of students all studying a lot of different things. So it's a great place to come meet people from all backgrounds and walks of life. And this is something fun, but our mascot is an anteater. His name is Peter. It's kind of rare. A lot of mascots are lions and bears, but we wanted to be different and unique. So I always like to point that out. With that being said, we have two kind of driving forces that we like to highlight that really shape the business school. One is leadership for a digitally driven world, and that just means that we are up to date on our technology. We want to make sure we're always, using the most up to date pieces that are coming out right now. AI is the big conversation, so we've incorporated that into our courses and to a lot of our programs just to make sure we're keeping up with everything going on in the world. And then inclusive excellence. Really, diversity of thought is huge in the business world. You can't create new things without talking to different types of people. If we all were the same in the room, we all have the same answers. So diversity is hugely important to us. And we want to make sure that we're inclusive in our student body and diverse in our student body as well. With that being said, quick overview of our programs, and I'll go into this a little bit later in a couple more slides, but there's two sections of programs. There's the MBA section, and that's our full-time MBA, which is 2-year long in person. There's a flex MBA, which is part-time. People do that while they work, but you do have to be physically here in the US. So if you're international, that might not work, but that's okay. An executive MBA. So that is if you have at least 10 to 15 years work experience. So again, might not be this group, but know that that's something that we host for people who have been in the professional working experience or world for a while now. We also have something called specialty master programs. They specialize in a certain industry or study basically for a year. Our MBA is more a generic overview. We talk about leadership, we talk about organizational charts, all that great stuff. But the specialty masters really and truly focus in on a couple of things. So we have a master of professional accountancy, we have a master of science in business analytics, we have a master of finance, a master of innovation and entrepreneurship, and then a master of science in biotech management. These are about a year-long programs. So they're pretty quick, which is great. We also have a part-time online Master of Science in Business Analytics program, again, designed for those who are working. And then we also have something new this year called the Master in Management, which is a pre-MBA. You have to have work experience in order to apply for our MBA program. But for our Master in Management, you don't need that same amount of experience, and you can apply right from undergrad. With that being said, we are a top-ranked business school in the US that we're very proud of. I'm not going to go through all the stats here on the screen, but you can see them and see what we have to offer. And we're really proud that our programs have resonated not only with our students, but also in the global world. So we're really proud of that. The culture is important too. When you guys are looking at graduate programs, you're going to find a lot of programs out there that are going to be similar. If you want to do your MBA, lots of great MBA programs. If you want to study accounting, lots of great accounting programs. What you should also think about is what the school culture is like, what it's going to be like going to school day to day, the people you're going to meet, what's offered there. So we do want to highlight a few things. One, we're really proud that we are almost gender parity in terms of our students. We almost have 50-50 women and men, which is great. And we're also the number 2 percentage of female faculty globally, which is great, which means we have a lot of female faculty in our school, and that goes back to our inclusive excellence, which again, very proud about. We want to make sure when you're here that we're building community for you so you feel at home. A lot of you will come from really, really far away to study for business school. You won't have family nearby. You're going to meet people for the first time. It can be a little scary and it can be daunting. So we do our best to make sure that you feel welcome and you're able to meet people. And that's going to be through different co-curricular and curricular activities. So there'll be stuff that will happen throughout the class. There'll be case competitions and group projects that you work on with your different teams, which is really, really great. But then there'll be stuff outside of the classroom. So we're trying to do a combination of fun things. So we take students to the beach, to a football game, to the theater, which is great. We're trying to do a student trip to Disneyland this year, which we hope happens. We're very close to Disneyland here at UC Irvine, and we're really excited to do more great events with the students. So there'll be a lot of great things that will connect with your studies, but also a lot of great activities that have nothing to do with your studies, but are there to build community and connect you with your fellow students. We also have a number of affinity groups, we call them, that just connect students from different backgrounds to one another and to the professional community. They're open to anyone. Anyone can join these groups. So we have a Black Management Association. We have a Latinx initiative. We have an Asian Pacific Islander group. We have the Merage Global Initiative, which is for our international students, Out for Business, and a Veterans Association. I share this because I actually happen to work with the Latinx Initiative, the Merage Global Initiative, and the Veterans Association, so I am slightly an expert in this. These organizations are here to obviously create community for the students who identify as such, but they're open to everyone, and they're going to have events throughout the year where they bring in amazing guest speakers from local companies to come speak with our students. And so what I tell students is, even if you don't happen to be Latino, we hosted an event last year with the CEO of Hyundai Motors for America. She was great. Hyundai actually brought cars to our campus so students could see the cars. We couldn't drive them, unfortunately, but we got to at least see what they were working on. And she was an amazing speaker. And we told students, if you're interested in working with Hyundai, or if you're just interested in cars, please come to these events, because you get to meet people, you get to network, which is huge. You never know where that leads. And these are really great opportunities outside the classroom to not only network, but to meet people in our backyard who are working right now professionally. And that's where a lot of our students want to go to as well. And lastly, I'll say, we talked about obviously the community, but again, you're coming to school to come to school. So we do take that seriously. So our class sizes are, I would say, small to medium size. Just because we want to make sure that you're not just a number in a huge classroom of students. We want to make sure that you get to know your fellow classmates, but also your professor. That's important to us. You also get an individualized academic and career plan while you're there. So there is a team of staff who work with you to plan out what courses you're going to take throughout your time as a student, but also there is a special career office that is there to work with you on your goals for the future. There's staff who are there to look at your resume, to have a mock interview with you if you want to practice that side of things. Sometimes students will get an offer for an internship and they want to make sure they're practicing before they have that interview, and they want to just work with someone. You can do that through our career team, which is really, really great. And again, this is, I think, important to me if I was going to school, because I did not have this in my graduate program, but we have the highest staff to student ratio of any of the UC system business school. That means that there's a lot of staff to handle all of the things that go on and everything you need, from career planning to choosing your classes. But even if you have a question or a problem, or you're not sure where to go to, there's a staff member there to help you. And that's really, really important, especially when, again, you're far away from home. This is new. You maybe aren't sure what to do. There's always someone there to talk to you. So now we're going to go a bit deeper dive into the programs I mentioned earlier. So I shared with you that we have 4 specialty master programs, which you can see here on the screen. They range anywhere from about 9 months to a year, and they are full-time immersive programs. And you will basically take core courses together with all of your fellow students, but then you can also dive deeper into different tracks or pathways to focus on different realms within accounting, say, for instance. So accounting, there's a tax track, and then there is a analytics track. So there's a couple things you can do that focus in on specialized studies within that overarching theme, which is great. These programs are designed that you can go directly from undergraduate to graduate school. You can also have worked for a couple of years, that's fine. But you can definitely, if you're currently enrolled in your undergraduate program, you can go right to this master's degree next year if you wanted to. You don't have to have work experience. It's great to have work experience if you have it. It's great if you have some sort of on-campus activity or event that you worked on. That's all great for your resume and for the application, but it is not required, which is great. And that's because during the program, you'll gain extra experience through different either internships or capstone projects. And that will be great for your resume and for your professional journey going forward. These programs are also open to all majors. There are certain programs that are more technical, so accounting, finance, and analytics, that we want to make sure you have a more technical background just to make sure that you can participate in the class and do well. And that's where the recommended coursework comes in, but you don't have to have majored in accounting to do the accounting program, for instance. Our diverse global student body is from over 30 countries, which is awesome. So you'd be one of many students representing our students from all over the world. We also do a lot, and I mentioned this earlier with our career team. They want to make sure to focus on you and helping you in your professional goal. That basically means that 85 to 95 usually % of our students have landed a job within 6 months of graduating. And that's what we want to help you do here. I think undergrad and graduate are different. In undergrad, obviously, we all kind of go, we take classes, it's great. But when you go to graduate school, the real goal is to get the extra resources and skills that you need to get a really amazing job. And that's what our staff are there to help you with, which is great. The MBA programs, which are a little different, you do have to have work experience. So these programs are set up for early career professionals. So about 3 to 6, I can't speak this much, 3 to 6 years work experience. It's a 21-month program, so it's 2 years. And then in between year 1 and year 2, our students go have an internship over the summer. Our career team will help you find an internship. They won't find it for you, but they will help you on that journey. So you work on that over the summer. Just like our specialty masters, you'll take core courses with everybody together, but then you can kind of choose electives and immersions to really customize the program that works best for you. Some people want to dive into healthcare, so they can do that. Some people want to go to marketing or technology. So you can take those core courses that will help you be a leader, which is great. But then you can focus on different immersions or electives that really hone in on the industry you might want to explore in your professional career path going forward. And again, this is very similar to our specialty masters. We do have a very high placement rate of jobs once students graduate. And that's, again, because we have an amazing dedicated career center that is there for you to help you in that process as you go forward. So what do we look for in a candidate at the Merage School? Because you're like, this is great, these programs are great, but what about me? How am I going to apply? What are you guys looking for? So we obviously want to see that you have a strong academic background. So we do want to see a strong GPA. Usually we have about a 3.0, but it can be a little lower. It depends on the student. Again, it's a case-by-case basis. We do look for relevant either internship, work experience, or campus-based activities just to, accentuate what you're looking for and what your goals are in the future. I think the biggest thing we're looking for is what your goals are going forward. A lot of people don't realize when they submit their application to one of our programs, we ask for an essay. And a lot of people say, I just want to go to grad school. Yep, we get that. That's why you're applying to the program, but we want to know why. Why our school, why the program that you're applying to, and then also what you want to do in the future. And those essays are usually the strongest ones. It helps us see what your goals are in the future, and it helps us decide if you are a good fit or not into the program. We also, of course, want to see solid communication skills and solid kind of teamwork skills. Our program is very teamwork oriented. You will be in teams to work on many projects in your classes. So it's important that you are able to work as a team and together with other people to be successful in the program and then, of course, in life. We do look at applications on a holistic basis. So we don't look at just 1 or 2 things that make our decision for us. We look at you and your application as a whole to see what kind of fit you would be and if that fit would work with our program. The other question I know a lot of you will always have, and that's why we're here with Prodigy, is scholarships and financing. We do offer a number of scholarships throughout the application process. Some of them you don't have to apply for. You'll just submit your application for the program. And when you get a decision, if it's a positive decision, you will receive an email that says, hey, you got into the program, congrats, and here is your scholarship. But we also have a couple different scholarships now that we're offering that are full rides, and they do require an extra application. So just keep that in mind. One I will bring up for the group here, because I know there are a lot of international students on the call. We about 2 years ago launched a Merage for Africa and a Merage for Latin America scholarship. These scholarships are specifically for the best students and the most ideal candidates coming from countries in Africa and Latin America. You have to apply separately. You have to submit a video, and it basically shares why you would be a great student ambassador and why you should get that scholarship. Because when you get to school, the reason you got the scholarship is you're going to serve as an ambassador in the program. That just basically means you will be a student representative. We will ask you to do sessions like this for students coming also from Africa, Latin America, to answer questions, because we find that a lot of times, people in your shoes a year ago are really great resources for you. I'm great, Steven's great, we can give you the facts, but sometimes you want to talk to your peer. And it's great that if you decide to go on this journey, you decide to go to grad school, it's really helpful for you to give your experience and your feedback to students just like you who are thinking of doing the same journey. So it's a really great scholarship. It is full tuition, but know that you will serve as student ambassador for the year and help students who are applying and coming in for the next year, which is a great opportunity. It's great to be able to give back in that way. So we talked about programs, we talked about scholarship. Let's say you come to the program and you participate and you have a great time. Now what? It's the job. That's what we want for you. We want you to get an amazing job. And at UCI, we have so many great companies in our backyard, and students get really, really great jobs once they graduate going forward. So this is just a quick snapshot, as you can see on the screen, of where our alumni currently are working. So you can see there's a little bit of everything. There's a lot of healthcare. You can see Kaiser Permanente, Johnson & Johnson, Walmart. There's also Hyundai Capital, which I mentioned earlier. So there's literally people all over the place in every kind of industry there is. I'll point out, because this always fascinates me in terms of, I talk about, we have great, amazing companies in our backyard. The Taco Bell headquarters is actually closer to my apartment than my actual job. I obviously don't work there, but it's actually literally down the street from me, and I always find that fun. For you guys who don't know, Taco Bell is a fast food, Mexican-American type place that people eat at. It's very popular here in the US, and it's literally down the street. So it's cool to have these companies not only represented in where our alumni work, but many of these companies have offices in our backyard that we're able to connect you with our alumni and people who work there and bring them to campus for you to connect with. So with that being said, applications. Those who are here will get an application fee waiver code. So I will send you an email, or Stephen will, one of us will send you an email, we promise. So you will not have to pay the fee to apply if you would like to apply. All applications are done online, and it's very, very straightforward. You can see the different deadlines on the screen. I'm not going to go through them all, but they're all there, and I can send you this information afterwards in case you need it. The online application is really straightforward. It's the online application itself. It's any transcript from any institution you have attended. We will require a resume or a CV. We do require 2 letters of recommendation. They can be academic or professional. One of each is fine. You could do 2 academic, whatever works for you. Definitely ask people who can definitely talk about you as an individual and as a student and how they feel you would do in a program here. And then we also have a couple essays, and that's kind of about it. So once you do the application, if we feel you're a strong candidate, we will invite you to an interview. It will kind of be like this. There'll be conversations. It'll be over Zoom. We'll ask you questions about your application, about why you want to apply for the program, and then we get the decision out to you. So we try to do things pretty quickly, just so you can start the process of deciding where you want to go to school, and then, of course, getting the visa, which is always fun. So next steps that I advise you, I know I talked a lot and I know I talk fast, and I'm working on that. I'm from New York, so it's hard for me, but I'm getting there. But my biggest piece of advice is, 1, engage with our current students and alumni. Again, I can connect with you. I'll send you an email with the fee code. I can't speak today. Wow, fee code waiver. But also what we find is that talking to current students who are in the program now is really, really helpful for you to understand why they chose the path that they did and how that relates to your journey. So we're happy to connect you with current student ambassadors, and they can tell you about the program. They can tell you about what it was like for them to apply, how they went through their visa journey. They can give you all these really great tips and advice. So definitely think about that, because that will help you kind of figure out what I want to do and where I want to go. Second, you can meet with us one-on-one for a personal consultation. So this was obviously a very, generic overview of Merage, but you can have a conversation with me or one of my colleagues where you're like, you know what, Lisa, that business analytics program sounded great. I really want to talk about that specifically. So you can connect with us and we can talk to you about what it is you're interested in. Visit a class. That's hard to do if you're an international student, so don't worry about that so much. We use this for all of our sessions. But you happen to be visiting California and you want to stop by the school and have a tour and visit a class, something we definitely can arrange. And then, of course, apply by the next application deadline if you decide this is what you would like to do. So with that being said, questions, that's my email address. So I'll leave this up on the screen for a moment. And I thought maybe there were questions, but I can't actually see my screen. So I'll leave it back to Steve.
Yeah, I'll help moderate it. There's a couple good questions for you, Lisa. Great presentation, by the way. And I think one thing that really resonated with our audience is going to be your kind of premier scholarship opportunity. So one of the questions that I think was kind of for both of us was, on the Prodigy Finance side, our application window for African countries aren't available right now. Is that changing anytime soon? That happened to be asked as you were mentioning that you have an exclusive scholarship. So I wanted to drive home the point to anyone attending or watching this right now that, while the window for a Prodigy loan to study in the US might be closed, there are schools, great schools like UC Irvine that have initiatives out there and make opportunities available to students in order to help you realize your dreams. So I wanted to drive that point home for our attendees today because that sounds like a really cool opportunity. Can you speak on that for just one more minute for us and let us know how that works?
Yeah, so we have an amazing dean, Dean Amy Williamson, and he has for years now been participating in this African Dean Summit every year. He goes to it rotates in different universities in different countries in Africa. He goes every year. He connects with other deans from all over the world, and he came back and he just was like, you know what, we need to see more students. Why aren't we seeing them from Africa? What is happening? I want to see them here. So we met with him and we chatted it, and we're like, you know what, maybe there's a financial barrier for students to get here and see that dream that Stephen mentioned. So we decided, let's try having a special scholarship that's dedicated just to students coming from Africa. All students applying to a program get reviewed for scholarship, but we wanted to make sure we had something specialized for students coming from Africa because we know that is a huge barrier and that's not a barrier for everyone. So we designed it specifically to make sure we are getting the best and brightest for Africa, from students from Africa, and we're helping you guys get here with this scholarship. So the scholarship, what will happen is it's separate from your actual application to the program. So there's two things you'll have to do. One is you have to apply for the program itself before the scholarship deadline. So it will be January 15th for 2026 for any program starting in fall of 2026. So you have to get your application in because we have to actually see that you're applying and that you're interested, and we want to make sure you're a good fit for the program. We can't give a scholarship out to a student if maybe they're not qualified for the program. So you definitely have to get that part in. The second piece is the scholarship piece. What will happen is we will send out emails probably starting November, once a month. Any student has started an application in our system, but happens to be from Africa, just inviting you to apply for this scholarship. The application for the scholarship is very straightforward. It's basically submitting a 1 minute long video and you have to answer a question. The question is usually something around why you would be a good student ambassador and serve as a good student ambassador on our campus. The reason why is we want to give scholarships to students. We want to make sure that barrier is removed, but we also want to make sure that we're building out opportunities for students just like you in the future to continue to come to our campus. So we want you to come. We want you to have this amazing scholarship, but we don't want you to be the only person from Africa to ever come to our school. So the reason why we ask students to serve as ambassadors with the scholarship is we want to make sure you're reaching out to those students that were in your shoes a year ago. You're answering their questions. You're giving them advice because it's so difficult sometimes to come from wherever you're coming to the US. There's visa issues. There's, oh my God, how do I find housing in a place I've never lived in? And I can give you advice. I can talk you through it. But sometimes it's really nice to see that friendly face and that friendly student who has a similar background and really connect with you on that level. So I know I just talked a lot there, but basically the answer is one, you must apply for the program you are looking for, because when we choose the scholarship awardee, that video you submit will be very important. We want to make sure that the student ambassador is a great representation of our school to talk to other students coming from Africa as well. But we also want to make sure you're a good fit for the program. So please do fill out and complete the application for the program you're interested And then part two, fill out that scholarship application. What will happen is January 15th will come. We will review everybody who has submitted a scholarship. We'll see who has submitted their application. And then we will make a decision, hopefully in about 4 to 6 weeks from there. So you can kind of start working on your visa. So pretty straightforward, a lot of fun. And we love our students who are coming and getting this scholarship. So it's great for us because we get to work with them.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much. The other question, I think you already answered towards the end of your presentation, but we may have people watching this after the fact or joining us late. The question was about the application fee. So you're offering a application fee waiver. That fee is $150, but if you attend either this event or maybe a future virtual event they'll be eligible for the application fee waiver. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. For us, it's a thank you for spending your time with us today. We know you're busy. We know you have a lot to do. So you're taking out like an hour of your day to talk to us and to listen. And so for that, we just want to give you that nice waiver to help you start the application itself.
Awesome. Wow. Well, thank you so much. I think one other question that maybe students will have is the transcripts in their application. So you said that they need to submit transcripts from any institution of higher education that they have attended. Do they need to accompany that with a WES or an ECE evaluation, or how is that working at UC
That will
Irvine?
be dependent on the school itself. So that's a great question. So there's rules, and I get the rules confused, so I'm not going to say it in case I'm wrong. But if you come from an English speaking taught school, it will be a very different request than if English is not the first taught language at that school. So it will just depend on the school. But what is nice is when you apply through the program, just like there's special staff for you to pick classes, just like there's certain staff that you'll work with for your career, we actually have dedicated staff for each program that help you through the admissions process. So as you start the application, you'll be in touch with our team and they will literally answer those specific questions that will relate to you and the application itself. So that's what's nice about this. You're not just submitting an application and going, I hope I get to hear from someone. There will be staff that will be like, thank you, let us know if you need anything. And they're also going to be the ones that will let you know, hey, your transcript is great, but we needed the WES, or hey, your transcript's fine. You don't need to send anything else. So we do have staff that will let you know if your school counts in one category or the other.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. All right. So what we'll do now is I will transition to a very brief overview of Prodigy Finance. And as I'm going, if people have questions, still feel free to put those in the chat, please. That's where we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. Allow me to share my screen with everybody. All right. Hopefully you can see that now. Um, Real briefly, though, I just want to thank everyone who's attended or who's watching this after the fact for joining us. UC Irvine is a fantastic school in a fantastic location. And as you've heard from Lisa recently, they have quite a few awesome programs, regardless of what you are interested in. How does Prodigy Finance come into play here? Well, that is because Prodigy Finance is a company that lends money to international students who want to study abroad. We only partner with a select few schools. So there's a few in the US, we have a few in the UK, and a few in Germany and France and Australia now. But we select schools where we know that there is a strong ROI. So you saw from Lisa's presentation that UC Irvine does provide a strong return on your investment when you're going to graduate school in the US, and that's why they're such a valuable partner to us. But how did Prodigy Finance come about? Well, our genesis story is our founder was actually an international student who was looking to study abroad and get his MBA. He got admitted to the school of his choice, was excited to go, and then essentially realized that the only money he could get access to were funds in his home currency. And if you're studying abroad, often that can be a challenge because of hyperinflation issues, bank fees, things of that nature. So our founder, Cameron Stevens, started a company in which we will loan students money to study abroad for tuition and living expenses in that country's currency. So if you're going to study at your UC Irvine, it's important to us that you have access to funding in US dollars that will take care of those expenses for you. So founded by Cameron, 17 years later, we've grown into a wonderful organization where we are headquartered in London, New York, and South Africa. So we're a global organization. And our only main mission is to make sure that high achieving, high potential students from across the world get access to funding to study abroad. Most of our students do decide to study in the US because that is where the strongest, well, I would say two things, where the strongest school systems are historically, kind of on speaking in a broad sense, right? But also very strong return on investment when it comes to post-completion work authorization and job opportunities. Plus, you've got a degree from a school like UC Irvine, School of Business. Now the world is your oyster, essentially. We have funded over 45,000 students from across the world. We have issued over $2.3 billion in funds to students so that they could pay their tuition and living expenses. And we partner with about 1,800 schools, and we have students from over 120 countries who are eligible for our loan products. So why should you choose Prodigy Finance? One, depending on your credit rating, you can get up to $220,000. That is to say the full cost of attendance. If, a program only costs you 50,000 plus, 15,000 in living expenses, we're not going to give you 220, but we can loan up to 220. That would cover most elite graduate programs in the US. The application process is 100% online, and we have no penalties for early repayment or no extra charges for hidden fees. The other thing that I think students appreciate about Prodigy Finance is that 6-month grace period that we offer after you graduate. So you've got your MBA or your Master's of Science in Business Analytics. You did your internship at UC Irvine, you've gone back, you've finished your program, and now it's time to get that full-time job on your OPT. We understand that that might take you a little while to do, so we're going to give you a little bit of a grace period, rather nice grace period, I would say, in which you have time to find your job, save some money so you can start repaying your loan. And again, we do offer funding for living expenses. Once you have been issued a approval letter from us, that money, or that letter rather, can be used to show in your finances during your visa interview that you have available funds to study at UC Irvine. So what makes you eligible? So you're looking to study at UC Irvine's business school, right? Your school's supported. You're coming from a supported country. I know that we had a question recently in the chat about students coming from countries in Africa aren't available or aren't able to submit applications yet on the Prodigy platform for funding. That's a fluid situation. So what I always tell people is to constantly check our website. Without getting into too much detail, what we do as a business is we raise funds from investors and allocate those to certain schools or areas. And what we are doing, working diligently right now, is to find a significant amount of funding that we can make available to students from Africa. And we see that coming, if not by the spring semester, certainly by the fall semester. So just keep your eyes peeled. We understand that Africa is a huge market for us and for the US, and that there's tons of talent and ambitious and entrepreneurial individuals coming out of Africa to study in the US right now. And so we want to help make that happen. Excuse me. Um, so yeah, now you've decided you want to study in the US. You want to go to the Merage School of Business. We do support several of their programs. Now, Lisa, don't hold it against me if the MS in biotech management isn't in the business school. That showed up on, okay, perfect. It is in the business school.
It's a joint program. It's a long story, but it is a joint program, so technically it's part of
Fantastic. So I'm giving you full information here in that if you want to go to the business school, these are the programs that you would be eligible for funding for from Prodigy Finance. Very quickly here, I will show you in a minute. What you'll do is you just go to prodigyfinance.com. you would find schools we support. You would type in Irvine, and that will bring you to all of their different schools. And here you will see the programs available to you, a little bit of information about UC Irvine from us that we have gotten from UC Irvine, admissions criteria, things like that. But always check with UC Irvine's websites on those criteria as they may change. See, last updated in 2023, so you want to double check that. Um, Another point that I want to drive home is, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, is UC Irvine offers scholarships. Prodigy Finance, as we're discussing now, offers loan funding. We also offer scholarships, and we do have a few that are designated for students coming out of Africa. So that's one thing that you're always going to want to do as an international student is look at where you're going. Do they offer scholarships that you can apply for? And these are generally very competitive. The same with us. There are third-party vendors out there that do have a philanthropic drive that offer funding to students from either certain regions or going to certain kinds of programs. So always check that. But our scholarship initiative should relaunch here at the end of the year for next year's intakes. So if you're thinking of studying in the US and you're from Africa, we have other scholarships available to anyone from around the world. Look for those opportunities, whether you're from Colombia, Mexico, France, Germany, an African nation, it doesn't matter. We have a scholarship that's available pretty much to everyone. These are smaller, these are not full ride, but they are every little bit helps, right? So always check in with Prodigy's website and see what is new and what is happening as far as the applications come through. All right. So our loan process is relatively simple. You can apply online when those windows for funding become available. We'll review your application. It's always important to be 100% transparent and honest with us as far as uh, any debts that you may have or any access to funding you may be getting from a school or from a family member, and we'll verify that information. You'll receive a non-binding provisional offer once we review that, and you can accept your provisional offer by uploading supporting documents. So, passports, admission letters, things of that nature. Um, Once your funding has been allocated, so once we've matched you to funding from our investors, you'll need to, in order to accept the offer, you do have to pay a $500 processing fee to finalize your loan. So if the offer is full cost of attendance plus living, and tuition and fees, that is a $500 processing fee in order to have access to those funds. And it is the only fee you pay up front in order to acquire your loan. And then you're going to monitor your Prodigy dashboard. We will be sending you updates asking for initial information from you. Send us your tuition bill. We'll pay that directly, generally, to the school. And then once you sign your loan agreement when you're on campus, the money will be paid directly to the school. Any living expenses will go directly to you. So that was a very quick and simple overview of us and who we are. But I do hope that it allows you to see how Prodigy makes studying in the US at a school such as UC Irvine completely possible. Again, given the fluid situation with the application window, those will become available soon. So stay tuned to those. In the meantime, wherever you are on your admissions journey, I always encourage you to stay engaged with your school. So, go to UC Irvine's website, see what's happening, see what virtual events they have coming up, and stay engaged. So, real quickly before we close out tonight or today, whatever you may be joining us from, let me double check if we have any questions in the chat. All right. So Samuel asked a question, I think, about our Prodigy scholarships. Samuel, great question. Those are smaller scholarships, generally $2,500 to $5,000 to come that will be sent directly for your tuition bill. So in the case that you are wanting to go to UC Irvine, but you, for whatever reason, were not selected for a full ride scholarship, but you have funding available from Prodigy or another lender, you can still apply to our scholarship and get an additional a bit of money off of your tuition fee. So it doesn't, for us, our scholarships are not tied to your being a Prodigy lender or customer. Rather, you simply just have to apply, and we're looking for the best and brightest in order to help them achieve their dreams. So, great question from you there, Samuel. Um, with that said, I think we're coming to the end of our presentation. Lisa, I do want to thank you so much for your time. Anyone who's registered or who has joined us today, I will share your contact information with Lisa and her team. So you will be getting an email from them in the coming days and or week maybe, just inviting you to learn more about what UC Irvine has to offer. And if you have any questions, please do not ever hesitate to reach out to us. Lisa, I will leave you with the final word.
That's like pressure. So thank you guys for joining us today. It was lovely to get to chat with you. Thank you for the great questions. I really do appreciate that. Thank you, Stephen, for hosting us. And as Stephen shared, we'll be in touch soon. Feel free to send us an email, and we're happy to connect you with some of our admissions team. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us. Have a lovely evening. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon. Take care.